Globalization is making the rich world even richer, but billions are locked out. They're living on the edge between the rich world and the poor. They face tough choices if they want to join the party. You would think that as countries become richer, most people become better off. But in one of the world's most successful economies, up to half the population run the risk of being left behind, unless, like one young woman, they make some awkward decisions. The last few days of spring before the hot summer. Tourists are still arriving by the thousand to see the Taj Mahal, built by an Indian emperor in memory of his beloved queen. But more than 350 years later, living in the shadow of love's most famous monument, 27-year-old Vaijanti is living in a very different India.
I had thought the prince of my dreams would come and take me away. I had a lot of dreams in my heart, just like in the movies. I thought love was a good thing. My marriage would be made in heaven. My friends would dress me on my wedding day. I had all these hopes. But now I think of love as a betrayal. What happened to you? I first gave birth to a daughter, Shraddha. Then I had an abortion. My in-laws got it done forcibly. The astrologer had predicted that I would have 5 girls. So with that in mind, my mother-in-law forced me to have an abortion. The third pregnancy was also a girl. They insisted I abort the fetus, but I refused. I came back home to my mother. My mother asked what the matter was. I told her they wanted a son. I said that I would give birth to my daughter. For us, women are symbols of strength, like the warrior queen of Jhansi. I saved her, and today she is alive.
Educated only till secondary school and without any means of livelihood, the odds are stacked against Vyjayanti. It's a tough choice for her. Should she walk out on her husband after what he and his family have done to her? Or should she return back to his house? She's still to make her decision, and she faces an agonizing dilemma over the future of her marriage.
Do you still love your husband? Yes, I still love him. I would like to go back to him. I asked him to come over, but instead he said, "Give me a divorce." I said, "How can I give you a divorce when we haven't discussed anything?" I said, "I will not let you off so easily. You have spoilt my life, and I will not let you ruin someone else's. Now I'm living like a widow. What will happen to my life?"
Fetal scans to make sure the next child is not a girl is an illegal but common practice in India today. Figures suggest that around 1 million girls are being aborted every year due to sex selection. Experts warn that the next census could reveal a shocking gender imbalance. So, is India really a country where young girls have a stake in the future? Vyjayanti's taken the first step in finding out, filing a criminal case against her husband and in-laws in court. They deny illegal abortions or sex selection. She's unsure whether to press on.
Tell me, Vyjayanti, would you like to compromise with such a murderer?
Yes and no. I'm not sure.
How can you say such a thing, being a woman? You're ruining your life like this. Your mother and brother are supporting you, and with their help, you should have the courage to stand on your feet. Can you do that?
When I see their support, I do feel I can go ahead.
Vyjayanti's situation symbolizes the misery and dilemmas faced by millions of ordinary women in India, forced by their husbands' families to bear only sons. Despite huge economic constraints, Vyjayanti's own family have backed her fully, unusual in most traditional homes.
In India, everything is veiled in hypocrisy. They show devotion to a stone idol, but not a living woman. They consider stone idols as goddesses. They offer them flowers and pray to them. But living women, they consider to be nothing, even though they're the ones who give birth to future generations and nurture them.
I had never thought that my daughter would have to bear so much grief. I've got fed up of this world. After suffering and struggling so much, I'm really exhausted.
In Agra, Vaijanti meets other women like her who've been abused by their in-laws. Some fight in cases for the last 20 years.
I got married in 1986 in Mathura. My husband was in the civil service. His mother lived with him, and the marriage began on a bad note as it involved constant dowry demands. After 1.5 years, I gave birth to this daughter. They made it an issue that I had produced a girl child. So they just abandoned us in the hospital.
My mother-in-law really got after us. She wanted the firstborn to be a boy. She said, who gives birth to daughters? They should be strangled as soon as they are born. 20 years later, you will have to pay a huge dowry to marry them off. There are such good techniques available. Get rid of the daughters right away, she would say. They want dowry, they want a son. They want an educated daughter-in-law who will slave in the house like a maid. But she must also work outside and earn. They want everything.
माना तूफान के आगे नहीं चलता जोर किसी का गहरों की बात नहीं है ये किस्सा है अपनों का मझधार में नैया डोले तो माझी पार लगाए जो माझी नाव डुबोए.
To help her resolve her dilemma, we take Vyjayanti on a trip around India. Seeing her country for the first time and discovering whether a girl in India really can make it on her own. Her first stop, New Delhi, capital of the brave new Indian economy. A shy girl who's never really travelled anywhere before, Vaijanti soaks in the sights and sounds of the city and enjoys the anonymity. But she's in for some surprises, because the rising number of female feticides symbolises something scary for development experts. The notion that a country can progress economically but stay stuck in the past socially.
They say it's a metropolitan city, but it's not metropolitan. These malls have come up, people will wear good clothes, wear good jewelry, they'll have the best of bags, but the thinking right here is still orthodox. It doesn't make any sense.
We got together a group of Delhi residents to meet Vyjayanti and compare experiences.
My sister-in-law has both a son and a daughter. That's why I wish to have a son this time. Then we'll have a complete family.
A son and a daughter is considered complete, but 2 girls don't make a complete family.
There is also pressure on me.
Women are suppressed whether they are working or not. If a woman comes home late from work, definitely she'll be asked why she's late. But if a husband is late, no one questions him. If the woman is tired after work, there's no one to attend to her needs. But a husband expects that he is served a glass of water the moment he steps in.
If a wife doesn't make a cup of tea with her own hands for a husband, she's of no use. She's completely useless.
Out on the streets of Delhi, it's time for Vyjayanti to meet other women from India's villages. They've arrived here without any resources to join the migrant workforce. It's a daily struggle for them. Their conditions aggravated by corruption and a booming economy that's left the poor in the lurch.
Where have you come from?
Jhansi.
All the way from Jhansi?
I've come here to work.
Are there no jobs there?
No, there's a drought in the village.
How much do you earn?
Barely 100 rupees a day.
There are even darker realities in Delhi. The sex ratio in India's capital is the most distorted in the country, 821 girls for 1,000 boys born. And disturbingly, it seems that the wealthier the family, the more determined to screen out the girl fetus. Vyjayanti checks this out at one of the many ultrasound clinics. She pretends she's pregnant and wants to know the sex of her child. This is the story she comes back with.
You just visited the clinic just now. Did they say they'd do the sex selection test?
They denied doing it here, but said, we will give you another address. They asked what my problem was, and I said, I'm 3 months pregnant. They asked where I was from. I said, I'm from Agra. So I came to get the test done here. But they said it's not being done here. He said, I'll give you the address. Then he said, it's an offense to do this and we can be fined. But if you go to the address we have given, they will charge 5,000 rupees. Then he said, if they don't do it there, then I will give you a pill with which 100% I guarantee you, you will have a son. I will give you that medicine for free.
Vaijanti's search takes her to a remote corner of India. She sets off on a 10-hour train journey to a village near Gandhian, a town in Rajasthan, close to Pakistan. Shy Vaijanti is beginning to enjoy travelling.
Vyjayanti, how are you liking the train journey?
After many days, I'm coming out of the house. Otherwise, it was back and forth from the court to the house, back to the court. I was feeling a constant pounding in my heart. This is a big relief. I'm feeling so relaxed.
It's said that several million girls have been aborted in the past 20 years. How do you feel about this?
I'm very frightened. When girls are killed at this alarming rate, where will they come from? I'm really horrified. Where will the girls come from?
Vyjayanti has travelled all this distance by rail and road to meet an exceptional woman, Jasbir Kaur, who refused to abort her triplets, all girls, despite pressure from her husband and in-laws. 14 years on, she has 3 confident and beautiful daughters and works as a nurse.
After the ultrasound, I was told I had triplets, and that too 3 daughters. The lady doctor said, "We can help you have an abortion." That day itself, I made up my mind that I would not abort. Day and night, I recited the Sukhmani Sahib from our holy book. I prayed that my girls would be born healthy without any deformity. My husband used to harass me and beat me. He believed that I would continue to stay with him. I said to him that I could manage on my own.
Jasbir isn't just another victim. She's a woman who's made a life on her own. And she's perhaps a role model for Vyjayanti.
You have done so much for your daughters and have struggled so much.
You must educate your girls and not lose courage. Don't feel alone. You have your girls and their love. It is my daughter's love that gave me strength. Giving a dowry will not assure happiness for your daughters. My mother had given me dowry. Happiness comes from education and getting a good life partner. I can swear that I haven't taken even 5 paise from my husband, nor have I ever asked him for anything.
My dear uncle, I am very happy to receive your letter and a watch on my birthday.
Millions of girls are still out of the formal education system, especially in India's smaller villages and towns. Jasbir's doing the best she can to educate her daughters, and Vyjayanti hopes she can do the same for hers.
What do you want to be when you grow up?
Doctor.
And you?
Doctor.
The village girls that come here are getting to learn a lot. Their knowledge in computers is increasing. Nowadays, computer literacy is a must in most jobs. All the girls want to learn more and more.
Whenever I come to the school and meet the principal, I tell him that these girls are my entire life savings.
Time to say goodbye to the triplets and to their mum. Vyjayanti has a gift, a model of the Taj Mahal for the girls to remember her by. And she invites them to visit the real Taj Mahal. Back in Delhi, it's time to check out a popular hangout for the rich and famous and meet women from a background quite different from her own. It's the first time the girl from the Taj Mahal has entered a discotheque.
My husband passed away. It's going to be 4 years and I have 2 daughters. I started working. I started taking care of my dad's travel agency. I feel the more you work, the more it helps you progress. It takes you forward, makes you forget your miseries.
If you come out of Agra and go somewhere else and meet different people, it will be good for you.
I have come out of Agra now on this trip and I'm really loving it.
If you liked it, that's good. You must learn to be happy for yourself.
It's like a lotus. The more you open up, the more people are going to love it.
Will you dance?
Yes, we will make her dance.
Vaijanti's next stop, the IT success story of India, Bangalore. Over a third of the workforce in the IT sector are women. Vyjayanti's meeting top women bosses to see if India really can be a country where young girls can make it on their own.
You're in a top position today. Did anyone try to prevent you from moving up?
In fact, in India, what I found is at a peer group level, that is senior management people, we've never had a problem where some of the seniors would actually come in and say, you're not fit to be at this particular role. It has always been youngsters, young boys, with 3-4 years experience who come back to you and say, so what are your qualifications and why are you here where you are?
I found there were people who were not necessarily comfortable with women being more assertive or aggressive. The same behavior which would have been accepted in my male colleague, I was asked to tone it down to be more gentler in my style of working. So you actually create a new way of working to be successful.
My main concern now is how to educate my daughters in this environment.
It is of utmost importance that your girls are educated and able to stand on their own feet. Whether they marry or not, whether they have children or not, they must be strong.
Strong रहेंगे.
Bangalore, it's often said, shows how women can be liberated and prosper in today's globalized economy. But again, there's a darker side to the story.
There are people in this industry who get harassed by their in-laws, get harassed by their husband for the money they earn, and the in-laws expect them to do everything right from morning 4 o'clock.
I've also seen people in my own team demanding dowry. In the IT industry, if you go abroad, for projects, they go to Dubai or the US or whatever, the dowry increases because you've gone abroad. And a lot of them, before their wedding, they definitely come up to me and say, I want to go because I want to increase my dowry. And they say it to me. And yes, that's amazing to me. And I can recall one incident, though I won't name the guy, but the guy came up to me after the wedding. I said, congratulations, how was your wedding? I couldn't attend because it was in Hyderabad. I said, where's your wife? You should bring her to the office. He said, I haven't got her to Bangalore because the father-in-law promised a house. He didn't give me a house. And I said, what?
Can India ever become a truly developed country when it continues to discriminate against women? Vyjayanti and our director have an appointment with the minister in charge of women's welfare.
We want you to meet Vaijanti. She's come from Agra. She's a young married woman. She was actually persecuted by her husband.
So the 2 children you have are girls?
Yes.
Very good. What have you named them?
Shraddha and Astha.
Very nice. So doesn't your husband know that what you reap is what you sow? You aren't responsible for whether it's a girl or a boy. Don't they know that? Science tells us, doctors tell us, that men are responsible for the sex of the child. Doesn't your mother-in-law know that?
They know, but then society just prefers boys. Female feticide has become so common. What is the government doing?
The government has taken several steps. The machines are meant to benefit women. But when people misuse this, it is known as the Dark Ages. Due to this, there is a nationwide shortage of girls. This is a very, very grave situation. In many places, boys are unable to find girls to marry. Because of this, the nation will soon face an unimaginable crisis.
Do you feel that this whole globalization party has left behind the women? It's only taken the men forward, particularly poor women like Vaijanti?
It's not a secret. Globalization, we have found by our studies and records and international awareness that it has feminized poverty. Women and children below 18 years of age constitute 72% of the population. And it's really not rocket technology to understand that you can't go into those quantum leaps of the future that globalization talks about if you leave 72% of your population behind.
Politics aside, Vyjayanti is still brooding on why her husband's so determined not to have girl children. Knowing she's not alone in her dilemma has brought hope and sorrow. In a video diary, a private moment.
What crime had I committed by producing 2 daughters? Had I committed such a huge crime? Now everywhere I'm going, I'm listening to all these sad stories of other women. I feel so sad. I also realize there are so many other women who are suffering like me. I had thought I was alone.
May have the kind of the last man. And ask them for the condition of lighted coupons. May we request the passengers to hold the lighted coupons and hand over to the nearest cab crew. Thank you.
How far back in Indian history does discrimination go? Was the Taj Mahal perhaps a one-off? Finally, Vyjayanti visits Mahatma Gandhi's Sabarmati ashram in Gujarat. Gandhi had a different vision for Indian women. He inspired them to play a major role in the Indian freedom struggle. Gandhi's followers say that if he'd been alive today, Gandhi would have waged a non-violent struggle to stop the killing of girls.
अबलापन छूट जाता है और वो ऐसा ही मानती है कि मैं औरत बनी हूँ तो क्या मैं बस नीच बनी हूँ नीच है वो तो अंग्रेजी में तो ऐसा कहते हैं ना कि वो तो आधी तो है लेकिन बेटर हाफ है.
The Bapu saw women and femininity as repositories of the good in societies and good in human beings. In fact, his answer really would have been that if we want to be a non-violent society, if we really want to lead a good life, we can lead a good life only if we face up to the femininity within each one of us. So even in some of his own self-practices, he was looking to be in touch with that woman within him. He would have been deeply perturbed with this entire social surge of both the nation state and the society and the civilization to acquire this hard, militant, masculine self-identity. He would have fought it with femininity.
Gandhiji preached non-violence. But can one fight violence against women without using weapons?
A woman once put the same question to Gandhiji. His answer was that for self-defense, you have to use weapons. In such a situation, the question of non-violence does not arise. Self-defense is every individual's right. It is important to fight for it. One must fight for it.
So has Vaijanti decided whether to go back to her husband or to get a job and bring up her girls on her own? It's still an impossible choice, but at least now she feels she can make it with a clearer mind.
After coming to Gandhiji's Sabarmati ashram, I feel at peace. There is a sense of calm within me. I will go back to Agra now and think about what I should do for my daughters and for myself. I will go back and think about my decision.